Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this week's live event. We're talking about setting our health and weight loss goals for the new year, which is literally right around the corner. So thank you so much for being here. If you're on live or whatever, jump on, say what's up, type in what are some of your goals for the new year? Where are you listening from? What is going on? Where are you coming from? I'm hoping that my comments will all work here so I will be able to see them. I'm going to pull them up just in case so we can get started really quickly. I'm sorry if you are being impatient. Thank you for waiting. If you're here, like I said, type where you're watching from. I was gonna say listening. And let me see if I can pull this up and mute just in case so I can see comments. Perfect. All right. Well, really quickly, let me introduce myself before we dive into setting some health and weight loss goals. My name is Renee Paulson. I'm a recovering food and sugar addict, but I'm also a healthy living and nutrition coach. I struggled with my weight for years and made New Year's resolutions to lose weight every single year and then would end up failing. And don't feel bad if you fail because the statistic is literally 80%. I think it's more now, but 80 to 90% of us will fail by January 19th. That's why we have dubbed that day Quitter's Day. Now, the biggest reasons why we fail on our health and weight loss goals is because, number one, we don't really define them. We don't know how to define a goal besides I want to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, extra pounds, whatever it is. I managed to lose over 100 pounds and keep it off for years, but the reason I finally clicked and was able to do that is by being able to define my goals, whittle them down, and then make a plan. So I'm going to talk that through with you today. So I hope that you have a pencil and a piece of paper. I always take pen to paper, and here's why. There is a connection in the brain when you physically write versus using your phone, and things actually just stick better. And at least for me, with my ADHD brain, I have to write it down or it will not stick. So I hope it grab you a few seconds, grab a pen, a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. This doesn't have to be your this is my goal for my whole life notebook. Just grab a piece of paper or write on the back of a receipt. I've even written on a diaper once. It wasn't dirty, it was clean. But grab your notebook. And what we're gonna do first is, number one, the new year is right around the corner. So we've already had a few weeks to kind of think about this. So what I want you to start doing is to start brainstorming and writing down any goals that you think that you might want to accomplish in the new year that have to do with health and weight loss. Now, go ahead and start that now. You can even type some in the chat comments if you would like. That would be super helpful. Some good goals for the new year would be maybe you want to lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds. Those are good goals, and we're going to break that down. But maybe you want to get off your high blood pressure medication, or maybe you want to lower your cholesterol 10, 20 points, or maybe you want to get your blood sugar to be stabilized, or maybe you want to start a new workout, or maybe you want to stick to a workout finally. That was a big one for me. Maybe you want to have energy throughout the day just on a regular basis instead of feeling so blah. So write those down, put a few in the chat comments if you would like. For me, myself, one of my goals this year is to completely get off my blood pressure medication. I'm almost there. I just have a little bit to go. So just fine tooth tweaking, things like that. I also want to complete a whole round of 75 hard. That's a big goal. So I want you to take a list of the goals that you have so far. And I want you to look at whatever you've got and try and pick 5. Now we're going to go through this practice, and we can do it with just one specific goal or one or two specific goals, and then go back and do this practice again or with your additional goals and see how that really helps you. So I want you to take all of your goals that you brainstormed, and I want you to pick a few. Now for the full year, what we end up doing is normally we pick 5. And 5 is a good number because if you pick more, it tends to feel very overwhelming. Now, the 5 that you're going to pick are not going to be short-term goals. So don't freak out and be like, I'm going to put a lot on my plate. What you're going to look at, the brainstorm list of goals that you've got, you want to pick 5, but you want to pick 2 short-term goals that would be able to be under maybe like 3 months or less. 2 mid-range goals, so they're going to be able to be accomplished somewhere maybe in the summer or fall-ish area, and then 1 long year-round goal. So take a look at the goals you've got. I'm going to read, Stephanie just commented, I would like to get under 200 pounds. I'm super close, but most importantly, I'd love to be better at getting a good night's sleep every night so I can have the proper energy to give my kids the life they deserve, the mom they deserve. Stephanie, that is such a good goal. That is exactly what I'm talking about. That's something for health. And what we talk about when we talk about New Year's resolutions, a lot of people only think it has to do with weight. And yes, weight loss goals are good if you are wanting to lose weight. But when we take that shift and we shift it to health, first of all, long-term results are way more achievable when you focus on your health and you focus on how you feel. Because sometimes, and I don't know if you've been there, but hit the heart button if you have, sometimes the scale doesn't move and you're like working your butt off and you're like, what is going on? And it's in those small times, because if you're working and you're doing those things, then that means your body is recompositioning something. Something is still going on. It's not like nothing's going on. But it's in those small times that when you hit those little plateaus or when you hit those frustrating moments that you can fall back on your health goals and how you feel. Because I don't know about you, but when I was very unhealthy and I was binging on food all the time and, fast food and ice cream and drinking a pint of ice cream every night, I just felt like trash inside. I felt bleh all the time. I had no energy, and I thought that that's just the way that we had to live life. And honey, it is not the way you have to live life. And that is not the way that life is supposed to feel. So I love that health goal to give the energy that you have. So going through your goals and picking 5, right? Like I said, now you want to take, right now we're going to do an example of one of your short-term goals. So something that's going to take 3 months or less. So if that's something like, if you have a number where you lose 10 pounds in 3 months, maybe that might go under there. But think about feeling, how you want to feel versus those numbers on the scale. Because especially women, our numbers fluctuate throughout the month anyway. They go up and down about 5 pounds. So instead of taking that number on the scale and making that the focus, how do you want to feel? So within 3 months, you could feel where you have an energy throughout the day on a regular basis. So I want you to write down on your short-term list, whatever your short-term goals would be that you think that you can accomplish in those first 3 months of the new year. Now, I am all about being realistic. This is real life. Don't sit there and say, I'm going to lose 35 pounds in the first 3 months, because it's not realistic and you're setting yourself up for failure. And unfortunately, when we continue to fail on things that we want to do, subconsciously, we get so discouraged that we're just like, this ain't ever going to happen for me. And you just continue to put that energy out there. So I want you to pick the 5 that you got and decide whether they're going to be short-term, mid-term, like I say, or long-term. Now, I really want to focus on one of the short-term goals. Whatever that is, I want you to try and break it down a little bit further. Like I said, break it down into the feeling. How are you going to feel? What does it feel when you have achieved this goal, or whatever, it's going to be, that you have energy, that you don't hit the snooze button, that you pop up out of bed and don't need that 3rd cup of coffee in the morning, or whatever that goal is. Break it down a little bit more. How is it gonna feel to you? And if you've got that and you know how, type it in the comments. I'd love to see that. I've got more stuff coming through. Let's see. Sandra, lower my A1C, stick to working out 6 days a week, 2 migraine days in a row this week. Oh, that sucks, man. Eating more salads like my parents do, actually lose any weight and help of psychiatrists go down out of my 2 out of my 4 psych meds. That's awesome, Sandra. I love those goals. Lowering the A1C for sure, and that's going to really also help with those migraines. Really, really, really love those goals. Stephanie says, I'm currently 222. That is like an angel number, by the way, Stephanie. Is it doable to lose 22 pounds in 3 months? I have lost 74 pounds this year. Stephanie! First of all, virtual high five for losing that much weight. Dang, girl. Like, that's hard to do. So good job. Kudos. Now, As far as, is it doable to lose 22 pounds in 3 months? Honestly, I'm going to say yes, but is it healthy? Honestly, I'm probably going to say no, especially since you already had a huge amount of weight loss last year. You want to make sure that you keep that focus on health and lose that weight the healthy way, and maybe put that into your mid-range goal, because mid-range, forget about it. You're easy peasy. And if you get it earlier, like, woo, just party time for you. But if you try and do it the unhealthy way and we focus on just losing that weight and that number, then that's when we can get stuck into, well, then after we get that number, then we eat all the things that we want, and it's a vicious cycle. So try and do that the healthy way. And I would suggest personally for what I say for my clients is put that in a midterm goal. And then if you hit it early, that means that you're just awesome. So I hope that was really helpful. So break down those goals a little bit more. How are you going to feel? Like, it's going to feel amazing if you don't have to hit this snooze button. And that's going to be a simple transition that you're not going to notice until this thing that I'm going to go over at the very end. So you better stick to it. Thank you, Stephanie. My pleasure. So now you've got all of that stuff. You've got either you're getting off your blood pressure medication, you're lowering it, you're getting off your cholesterol medication, you're feeling energetic, you're getting a good sleep schedule, you're sticking to working out. Even if that's walking 6 days a week and you're walking for 20 minutes, that's still something that is a goal that you could put down, that's just defining that. So then once we have those goals, I'm going to take a sip of water for a second, sorry. So once we have those goals and we've broken them down a little bit to how we feel, right? All about feelings, because again, numbers when we focus on weight, it goes with feelings. And that's what I have found to be very successful for my clients, is when you focus on those healthy feelings, like having that energy. So once we have those all broken down into that list, now I want you to take that one goal that we're still working on, that one simple goal that's in 3 months or less, and I want you to write down 3 things that you need to do or start doing or keep doing in order to achieve that goal, whatever it is. So let's say a good sleep schedule. That would be maybe creating a nighttime routine, putting your phone in a different room maybe, and whatever else, like not drinking water before 7 p.m. I don't know, whatever those things are. But write down the 3 things that you need to either start doing, keep doing, or just do in general in order to make that one goal, that's your short-term goal that we're working on right now, possible. And then I'll give you a minute. I never know if I should wait until everybody's writing or done writing, I should say. And then, let's see. Rosalie said, what is the maximum amount of weight to lose per month that would be considered healthy? Considered healthy would be, depending on honestly how much weight you have to lose and how big you are at the time, 1 to 2 pounds per week is considered healthy. Anything more than that, and here's what I tell my clients: when we are focused on trying to lose that weight the fastest possible that we can, honey, it did not come on overnight and it ain't gonna go off overnight. So when we focus on losing that quickly, we contend, and that's when we hit that cycle where we gain it all back and plus some. If you have had that cycle, hit the heart button, because it's not just me. I used to gain all my weight back and then some every time I focused on, well, how long is it going to take me to lose this weight? So take it into shifting that to health. The weight will come off. It's a calorie deficit. And as long as you're keeping that focus on health, your choices are then different. So the weight then comes off. It just comes off at a nice, healthy pace that you can maintain. You don't feel restricted, and you don't feel like binging up on a bunch of garbage food once you hit that number and you end up regaining any weight. Now, I'm not saying you in general. I'm just saying in general, that's what I did and what I've seen for so many people. Stephanie, I have a hard time sticking to drinking enough water every day. I'll do good for a couple of days, then I forget to drink enough water. Stephanie, girl, you are my spirit animal. I really, really, really struggle with water, honestly, to be perfectly clear too. I have to be very cognizant of my water intake and I have to track my water intake. And as one of my goals, Stephanie, actually, in the new year, is I am committing to drinking a gallon of water every day. So I am going to go out and buy a full gallon and keep track of it. And if I don't drink it by the end of the night, I'm going to have to chug it before dinner, which means I'm going to be up all night peeing. So I'm working on water too, Stephanie. If that helps you, buy a gallon of water and like carry it around or track your water. I'm working on that too, but it is for sure something that is incredibly important, especially to weight loss, because if sometimes when you feel hungry, you're actually dehydrated. So it's always a good rule of thumb is when you start to get like hungry or hangry to drink a bunch of water. But I'm in the same boat, Stephanie. I struggle with the same thing. Sorry, I want to get back on track. So now we've got our goals and we put them all. So you have to do 3 things that you need to start doing or continue doing, right? And now 3 things that you need to stop doing. What are 3 things that you need to stop doing in order to make that goal a reality? What would those things be? It could be stop making excuses. Like for me, like stop making excuses as to why you're not drinking enough water every day. It could be stop spending so much time on social media unless you're watching Renee Paulson's live streams. It could be whatever. I want to hear what your stop. Put in some of your stop things, because everybody knows they're like, sometimes it's hard to brainstorm on the do things, but the stop things, most of us really know. Sandra, I work for a call center at home. I have to drink enough liquids. Gave up no sugar rule, but stick to 1 a day on the package portion allowed. Okay, I'm a little confused, but you have to drink enough liquids, which is good. That's really good, because I work from home and I still don't drink enough water. I need to. That is, again, that's one of my goals for the new year. Stop negative thoughts. That's a good goal. I will tell you that when I have negative thoughts, because I think it's just human nature when you have negative thoughts, is just to try and turn them around. And honestly, they don't always have to be turned around into a positive. This doesn't have to be positive poly talk, man. You know, if you have a negative thought and you're feeling kind of down at that time, trying to neutralize it works just as good as trying to like put it into a positive when you feel like you're lying to yourself. Let's be real honest. All right, things you need to stop doing, stopping negative thoughts, which I really, really, really like. Less time on TikTok. Stephanie's on TikTok, maybe unless I'm using my exercise bike at the same time. Yeah, that's a good idea. Like, you can only get on TikTok if you did exercise or are doing exercise at the same time. That's a really good idea to reward your brain. I like that at the same time. Naveen, accept it. I like it. I like it. I like it. So you've got your short-term goals. You've whittled it down, right, into what you need to start doing and what you need to stop doing. So here's what I want you to do. And this could be a practice for later if you don't have it, because you probably don't. But what I do is I take out a big calendar that has all the dates for the month, right, through the year. It's a flip calendar that you can just write on and you hang it on your wall next to wherever you're at. You can even do it in your bathroom. Now, again, we're back to pen to paper. Mucho importante. And I cannot stress this enough. Please do not use your phone calendar, because it will not work. I don't know why. I don't have a good scientific explanation behind this, as I just know that with myself and all of the hundreds of clients that I have worked with, pen to paper and an actual calendar works the best. Davine says, stop being with people who are having conflicting goals of yours. That is such a good one. Such a good one. Because I will tell you, I think it was in what's that book called? I think it's called The Blue Zone. Yep. They put a statistic out that if you struggle with your weight and you look at your friends and your top 3 friends or the top 3 people that you spend the most amount of time with also struggle with their weight, getting healthy and losing weight is going to be a big, big, big struggle, because you are who you hang around with, because you all do the same thing. So that is definitely just extra food for thought for the new year. If maybe some of your goals are to stop hanging out with, having people who have conflicting goals than you, because if you ain't on the same path, it ain't gonna work. All right, so what I want you to do, and we can do this later, is I want you to set out a calendar. Now you've got your short-term goals, and do this, usually it works best to do it one goal at a time so it doesn't get super overwhelming. But you're gonna look at your calendar, and I want you to look, and I want you to schedule your short-term goal. So your short-term goal is going to have a due date, and it's going to be roughly 3 months after, somewhere in March. That's going to be your due date. So mark it on your calendar. This is your short-term goal, whatever it is, due date. Like sleep good due date. I don't know. I was trying to come up with something clever and it didn't really work out for me too well. But you're going to set that due date. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look at your do's and your don'ts and go back to beginning of January and look and schedule a few days where you start doing something or you stop doing something. Now they don't have to be on the same day, and I highly suggest that they're not on the same day because that can also feel overwhelming. So maybe scattered a little bit throughout January on how you're going to get to those goals. Maybe that's on January 3rd, you come do a Sugar Warrior 10, which is a 10-day sugar detox with me, or you do, whatever, you start your walking program or whatever it is. Like put those on dates on the calendar, right? And then throughout those 3 months, I want you to create checkpoints. And with a short-term goal, you're probably going to have maybe 1 or 2 or 3 checkpoints. Just create a checkpoint where you check in with yourself and you see, okay, am I doing the things that I need to do to reach this goal? Am I not doing the things that I needed to stop doing to reach this goal? And am I on track to reach this goal? How am I looking? Am I looking good? Am I like way far off? Assess. If you assess, and let's say you're really far off, right? Let's say like you missed a whole bunch of checkpoints and whatever it is, you're not on track. That's okay. Take a deep breath. Worst thing that we could do is to throw our hands up and be like, I'm done. I'm doing this next year. Screw this. I'm over it. Quitter's Day. I'm going to drink a pint of ice cream and eat like a chicken drumstick in bed and just cry. Don't do it. Don't do it. First of all, this process here is going to set you up for success. This is going to take that guessing game of like I said, we tell ourselves like, I want to lose 20 pounds this year. And then we're like, I don't know how to do that. And so we kind of just like, oh, feather in the wind, and it doesn't happen. This process will help you define it, make it where you have obtainable steps that you can reach, and you can look at it and decide, am I still on track? Is this still what I want? Now, we went through the short-term goals. Now I want to also touch on the midterm goals. So you're going to do the exact same process. You're going to go through, I want you to define it. I want you to look at it, maybe type in some of your midterm goals would be. That would be maybe losing that, 24 pounds, like I said, in that midterm goal, or something along those lines. Something if it's bigger, then it goes in the midterm. So what would some of those midterm goals be? You can write some of yours out if you'd like in the comments, which would be super helpful. You're going to do that same process. The 3 things that you need to start, do, continue doing, or just do in general. And then the 3 things that you need to stop doing. You're then again going to put it on the calendar, same way, and hit those checkpoints. Now, when you come upon the calendar and you hit those checkpoints, now I suggest taking a Sharpie on the calendar, marking these with a Sharpie. Your dates are your rule book. This is your golden rule. Keep them sacred, because when we start to be like, I'm just going to move these dates around a wishy-washy, things can get muddy, and that's where we can really get off track. But take the Sharpie and then mark off each day as you go. Mark the days off, mark it off, mark it off. And then with those midterm goals, once you hit the checkpoints, check in with yourself. Am I on track to reach this? Am I not on track to reach this? If you're not on track, what do I need to do to get back on track to reaching this? And then you then go through that brainstorm process again of like what you need to do and what you need to not do. But also check in, like, are you still wanting this particular goal? Are you still wanting to do this? Not in a, I want to go eat ice cream, so I am done with this goal type of a way, but in a, is this something I want? Do I need to readjust my goal? If I am already on track, maybe I want to add a little something extra to it, or add another layer to it, or whatever it is. But make sure you check in with yourself, and the same thing with long-term goals. Make sure you check in with yourself, because I don't know about you, but lots of things can change in a year. So just checking in with yourself. And I find as people in general, we have a hard time doing this, or like we just don't have time to do it because, we're just like running everywhere crazy and trying to get kids to practice and cook dinner and figure out how I have time to work out and do all these things. And it feels very, very overwhelming. And we just forget at times to check in with ourselves. So Stephanie, one of my midterm goals would be to get off one of my high blood pressure medications. That's an awesome one. I love that, Stephanie. Xander, freestyle swim using a flotation board for 30 to 60 minutes properly with my arms getting out of the water instead of just at the top of the water. Those are both really good. I really, really like those midterm goals. I will tell you, I think I'm making one of my midterm goals in order to really push myself is to do a jiu-jitsu competition. I don't know if you know what jiu-jitsu, it's like a physical activity, but a lot about self-defense and things like that, but super uncomfortable. And so I think I'm going to try and do that, but I love those midterm goals. And then long-term goals. Anybody want to shout out any of their long-term goals? I actually have not thought super, super hard about my long-term goal besides just being able to help as many women as I can lose weight and feel amazing for the rest of their life. So I need to whittle and define that one down. But if you've got some of your long-term goals, I would love to hear them. I would love to hear what you thought about the brainstorming and the goal process and all of that. I really enjoy feedback, and I just enjoy helping other people reach their goals. Naveen, to be fitter and have better breath regulation. That's really very, very, very important. I found breath regulation. Again, that's when I do jujitsu. I right now I get gassed out. So that's a really good one. Good to be fitter and to have better breath regulation. That's a good way to define it too. Anybody else? I love it, and you're really very inspired. Thank you so much, Jameen. I really enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate each and every single one of you taking the time and really sitting and deciding that you want to take control of how to set your health and weight loss goals and how to ring in the new year the best, most awesome person that you are going to possibly be. Thank you. But that's amazing. You guys are all amazing. I love everybody's health and weight loss goals this year, but really that health goal. Like I did a live stream talking about health versus weight loss last week. And when you focus on that health as your primary reason, things shift, not just the food, the nutrition, your exercise, your activity, your thought process, all of those things really shift and kind of work together to click to give you that weight loss and the health and the longevity that you want, and make it so that you can maintain that and keep it off for good. That's the whole reason behind learning how to set goals and being realistic about them, because we're all going to have health goals at some point or another. It's not like you just stay healthy for forever. You have to work at it, and that's just part of it. I think that we haven't been taught is how to really take care of ourselves properly. And the body will send symptoms when it is not happy with stuff. And those symptoms are in illnesses or diseases, even preventable diseases, high blood pressure, thick glasses, things, cholesterol, things like that your body starts to send warning signs and being like, I don't really know if I really like what's going on. And if you don't listen to it, you end up with the unhealthy side effects of not taking care of yourself. And unfortunately, I learned that the hard way. I was a junk food addict for most of my life. I drank a 2 liter of Coca-Cola every single day and absolutely zero water. I had lots of health problems, including I had to have my gallbladder removed when I was 25 years old. And I thought that was just a genetic thing that I was like, oh yeah, no, my mom had that. And it's scary that most of the times we don't take care of our health until it's like, we have to take care of our health. So I don't want you to hit that point of where you're like, I gotta take care of my health now. So make sure that you stick to your health and your weight loss goals this year. And the way that you're gonna break them down and take them step by step and take those little mini chunks and then check in with yourself throughout the year, that is going to be the key to your success on how you're going to be able to have that health and that longevity this year. I think my long-term goal is is to always appreciate and love my body and take care of it, to remember that it is my temple and it is what I'm living in. Ooh, that's a really good one. Sandra, long-term, make those behaviors to prevent dementia a daily non-thinking process. Sandra, you just touched my heart with that. My grandma had Alzheimer's and dementia, so that is a really, I love that one. Stephanie, this year I had to face the fact that I had a binge eating problem. It's been tough at times, but I do think I finally kicked that habit. Stephanie, you are not alone, ma'am. There are so many people, especially when it comes to like food and sugar addiction, and it's because that food is made to be highly addictive and make you want it and make you just like feel like it's uncontrollable. That is something that I struggled with for years, and once I figured out that it was food and sugar addiction, it really kind of took that veil off and helped me with the tools I needed to heal my relationship with food so that I could also still enjoy cake, but just not feel like I needed to shoot it into my veins. I don't know if that makes sense. If you think you might possibly be struggling with food or sugar addiction, I do have an online quiz that is backed by science and based on the Yale Food Addiction Scale. If you're interested, it is at www.reneepaulson.com. I will put a link in the comments here so you can go take that quiz and find out if that's what you're struggling with. And then if you are struggling with food or sugar addiction or binge eating, honey, that is what I specialize in. So make sure that you follow my Facebook page at The Sugar Detox Coach for more amazing tips. I do weekly live streams all the time, giving all this information just so that you can be the healthiest version of yourself, especially in this new year. Oh, volume up. Hopefully everybody can hear me. All right, Stephanie, I would like to get the proper therapy for it. My father wouldn't let us eat more than once a day. After he was out of my life, I became an addiction. That definitely makes sense, Stephanie, for sure. And therapy has definitely helped. And I will tell you that I just developed tools to heal that relationship as well as doing therapy. They kind of go hand in hand. So if you want information on that, Stephanie, definitely hit me up after we get off, because I could definitely share some information that would be very helpful. Is that program in this group? Is that program in this group too? It is not. It is on my private Facebook page. This is my business Facebook page. All of that information, I will link my page in the comments as well. But if you want to check it out on Facebook, it is at The Sugar Detox Coach. And yeah, that's going to be me, and you can go see all the information. And I've also got that quiz that's through there as well. So it should be really easy to get to. And if not, hit me up here. You can message me or comment on here, and I'll send you all the information that you need to know, or anything else like that. I thank you so much, lovelies, for being here. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate you engaging and taking the time to brainstorm and even share some of your goals with other people on here. That takes a lot of bravery, I have to say. So I commend you for that. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for being here on this Tuesday evening. I hope that you have a lovely the rest of your evening and a happy new year. Those goals, I know you. I know you're going to crush those goals and you're going to make them a reality. And I can't wait until you message me and you're like, Renee, I obtained my goal. I reached it and I'm crushing it. So I love you bunches. I hope that you have an amazing night. Thank you so much. My lovelies. Bye-bye. I'll see you later.